Before I'm Dead is an independent flick that is another one of the Echo Bridge releases, as you can see right here. Echo Bridge and SP Film releasing. We haven't had one of these types of films on this channel in a while, so I thought, why not do a throwback. I've picked up quite a few of these. They're sitting in the backlog. I can't afford watching them anymore but I do honestly want to give independent films a chance and take a look at these smaller time films and see how they work, how they look, how they tick, and where their desires or how much of an attempt they tried to make a film. So, yeah, this is Before I'm Dead, the universe will decide. Starring basically 4 names here, and there's about 1 or 2 more names that are in the film that have speaking roles. So about 5 to 6 people with speaking roles, and just 2 people that are really main characters. Everybody else has maybe 2 or 3 scenes at the most, and then they're gone. So it's mainly just J.R. Sawyers, who is basically the powerhouse behind this film. He acts as the main character. He is the director, he is the producer, he is the screenwriter alongside Jessica Hill, he is the editor, he is all over this thing. He is a main reason why this film was made. And one of the greatest solaces for this film is that it's only 83 minutes long, and it does feel like it's trying to fluff itself. It feels like it's trying to add maybe a little bit, about 20 to 30 minutes of footage, adds onto scenes or just lingers on certain shots. People are talking for a little bit too long to pad out the runtime. This feels like a short movie that ended up being feature length, and that's just my opinion. I think it would have been an excellent short film, to be honest with you, but as a full-length film, there is a lot to be desired in this. But I can appreciate a lot of the filmmaking choices here. By cutting down on the amount of locations to film, you can put more time and effort into any sorts of effects, any sorts of camera angles, any sorts of cool little CGs and all that stuff. You can put more attempts into that when you don't have to worry about too many locations and putting too much money into those things. We have basically 2 locations for the most part. We have our character here, who's called Nolan. His apartment, he is agoraphobic, which means he is afraid to leave his apartment. He doesn't want to leave his home, so that's why we spend most of the film in there. And then the other scene is a flashback location to a bar where a killer has come in with a machine gun and shoots everybody except for Nolan. He is the sole survivor, and it has caused a traumatic experience which sprouted his agoraphobia. So, he is now living in an apartment that is basically haunted. This is where the concept of 1408 comes into play. Both 1408 and a little bit of Groundhog Day. And they actually mention Groundhog Day, the movie, in this film, saying that there's some things that are a lot like Groundhog Day in this movie. So, it knows what it's doing. It knows what it's trying to adapt, and I could see it. Maybe other people could see it as well. There is a story here following the Nolan character as he's journeying through this weird, trippy film that goes all sorts of timey-wimey, spooky hauntingness. You're gonna have to see it to believe it. There's not really anything that I can really say to explain what happens in this film, but I do feel like it might be a little bit too long to be a feature-length film. There's not enough there. There's a lot of fluff. Scenes feel like they're a little bit too long. I mean, I've said that already. Forgive me, this is 2 takes. This is my 2nd take. So I might be saying things that I feel like I might have already said it before. I don't know. I'm not going to read the back here, basically, I've already explained it to you, but I will talk about the case, the cover, the images. Now, I've done a review of other Echo Bridge SP releasing films, And I often talk about the case because half the time when I talk about an SP releasing Echo Bridge film, the case has misleading stuff on it. It has misleading picture. They show things that are not of the film. And a good culprit of that is Righteous Villains. If you want to go back throughout my channel, just go to the Dollar Bins playlist, you'll find Righteous Villains. It has a completely misleading cover. There is nothing that is on the cover, front or back, that is in the movie. However, with Before I'm Dead, this is actually thankfully very, very faithful. The entire cover here, both of these characters are in the movie, so that's a good start. These two boxes contain scene screenshots of things that are in the movie. This is the bar where a lot of the people got shot. There's the killer with the gun right there, so that's in the movie, so that's good to see. This is again another shot of the character as he's lying down with a little bit of blood splatter there. That's in the movie. That's very good. This is the character's wife that died in the opening scene. She's in the movie, and this scene in the hospital bed, that's in the movie. Okay, 3 scenes. There's a single scene in a hospital room with a hospital bed. One single scene there. So there's 3 locations. This feels a lot like a Roger Corman film. Roger Corman. That is a scene of Nolan and the wife kissing. That's in the film. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know what this is. So we're 2 for 3. So that's very good. And what this is in the film. This is in the film. So that's all very good. I'll give this DVD case, a good pass. It is a good pass from me. Now, normally when it comes to SP releasing an Echo Bridge, we have the actual companies that made the film as well. We have Crimson Wing Films in association with Global Genesis Group. So those two are the main ones to focus on when it comes to who made this movie. When it comes to SP releasing and Echo Bridge, that talks into more who distributed this movie. I forget which one deals with the DVD hard copies, but that's where this comes from, and that's how it's in my collection. It's because of Echo Bridge and SP releasing. Is this film worth your time? I would say no if you're not into independent films. If you're not into independent films, like actually watching a film that doesn't have a high production budget, that doesn't have a high quality of voice, of like microphones, of cameras, if it doesn't have a high set design, power, cinematic, sound, music, all that stuff. If you're not into independent productions, B-movies, and things like that, then this is probably going to be one that you're more than likely going to pass on. Because a lot of people will. But if you're into independent films, if you're in or are in any way curious about films like this, like anything that Echo Bridge touches, or SP releasing rather, or whatever they touch, then I would say that it's worth giving a shot. It feels like a hybrid mix, concept-wise, of 1408 and Groundhog Day. And while both of these films are massively superior than this film, if you're fans of these two movies and you want to see how that type of concept would work in an independent film, then perhaps Before I'm Dead will be worth a shot for you. Yeah, that's all I got here. Give it a look if you want. Oh, one more thing before I forget. I did do a little bit of research on where you can find this movie outside of a hard copy, because I know a lot of people don't care for hard copies. Where can you stream this? You can stream this on Tubi for free on the US server. I don't know if it's on any other servers, but as of the making of this video, as of the publishing of this video, it is on Tubi. For free, so you don't gotta pay a dime. All you gotta do is give it a little bit of your time, and I do think it is worth a little bit of your time if you're interested in independent films. If you want to give it a shot and see what I'm talking about, be my guest.